What's going on, guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Ethan Horror. This is Ethan Horror, and welcome back to my Halloween Spooktacular. This is episode 3. Today I'm going to be ranking the Saw movies because Saw X just came out, and I absolutely loved it. So I'm going to go through and rank all 10 Saw movies from worst to best, but as usual, we got something to do. We got an advent calendar to do. Last time we got Michael from The Lost Boys, and the time before that we got The Bride from The Curse of La Llorona. Let's see what we get today. As usual, we got a little blind bag. Sleeve back on. I already saw through the blind bag. It's a little bit see-through, so I know what it is, but you guys don't. So, let's open this thing up. I can. There we go. It is 1990 Pennywise, the Tim Curry version. It's actually a pretty good Funko Pop. They're all minis, but, it's pretty good. I think there is a big version of this one. I don't have the big version of this one. I do have the big version of 2017, but this is cool. Glad we got this one.
Here's Johnny.
It's alive! It's alive! It's alive! It's alive! Yes. Yes, God.
Let's get right into the Saw ranking. Coming in at number 10, my least favorite of the Saw franchise is Saw 4. Now, I don't hate any of the Saw movies, but this one is the most boring. I don't think there's, anything that goes on in this one. I know what happens, but, it's nothing when you really think about it. It doesn't really do anything for the story. Because, the story from, Saw 1 to Saw 3D is just one continuous timeline. And this one doesn't really add anything to it. It kills Eric Matthews and introduces Mark Hoffman as the villain and has that great kick-ass ending. But otherwise, doesn't do anything. And it's very boring. Coming in at number 9, I have Spiral from the Book of Saw. I was actually pretty surprised by how much I did like this one. But it's still number 9 because it's not very good. I mean, I could see who the killer was from a mile away. It wasn't like a shot out of left field at all. It was yeah, that makes sense. Because the one guy, you don't show us how he dies. It's like, oh, he died in a saw trap, and this is supposedly his body. It's like, oh, it's that guy. And what do you know? It is. So that sucks. Otherwise, Chris Rock, his humor that he tries to put in the movie falls flat on its face. It's rarely ever funny, and the characters are just not very good. So this is the Saw movie that I just don't like. Coming in at number 8, the most controversial opinion on this list, number 8 is the original Saw. Hate me all you want. I know a lot of people love this movie, and I'm not taking that away from you. I'm just saying I don't see it. Because out of the Saw movies, one of the most boring of all of them. It's literally just two guys sitting in a room contemplating why they're in a room with occasional traps interlocked in between them. There's cops trying to find them, but otherwise, the two people that were sat there focused on the whole time are horrible actors. Lawrence Gordon, he is played by a good actor, but he's not acted well. And Lee Winnell, who plays Adam, is absolutely horrible. I know that guy's made some good movies, but acting, that's not for you. But ruins the movie. These two acted out absolutely terribly. It makes the movie plummet. I'm not saying it's even a bad movie. I'm just saying it would be a good movie with different lead actors. Coming in at number 7, I actually really enjoy this one. I think number 7 onwards is, they're all pretty good movies. Number 7 is going to be Saw 3. Mainly for one reason, I do like the Jigsaw subplot, but the Jeff subplot terrible. It's really bad. And Jeff is not even a good character because, like, he's like, oh, I don't know if I want to save this person. Oh, they're dead. Well, I guess I don't get to save them anymore. Moves on. Like, you're supposed to save him, but he does not, and he doesn't move. He is so goddamn slow. Like, he just walks. Well, I just not a care in the world that he's even in a jigsaw trap. So that's really what holds this movie back for me, is that subplot sucks really bad, but the Jigsaw Amanda subplot, that's all good. Coming in at number 6, probably most people's last place, Saw 3D, or Saw the Final Chapter, depending on how you look at it. But I didn't hate it. I actually really enjoyed the ending of Saw 6, so I was intrigued on how they were going to follow it up. But, you know, the ending of this movie isn't very good. It's just Lawrence Gordon, which is a terrible reveal. Like, I don't want it to be that guy, but it is, trapping Mark Hoffman in a room. Like, they've done, like, 3 times in the series already. Because there's the game over ending in the original, they trapped Eric Matthews, and then so it's the 3rd time they've done it. It's nothing new. And honestly, I hope Mark Hoffman made it out, because he's my favorite character of this franchise. And, like, this movie has some of the best kills of the franchise, but it does kind of look weird because the blood almost looks pink because of the 3D effects, I guess. And otherwise, the plot, kind of non-existent. Coming in at number 5, if you would have asked me right after I binged all these movies, this movie would have been dead last. But it's actually grown on me, and number 5 is going to be Jigsaw. Now, the killer is absolutely horrible, and it has nothing to do with the rest of the story, but for some reason this guy was trained by Jigsaw. I don't know, it's a little red herring, but, like, this guy, we've never even heard of. And he's a new killer, and he's terrible. He's horrible. He's one of the worst. He's easily the worst Jigsaw in the entire franchise. But with that being said, this is probably my favorite main trap subplot, with all the characters trapped in the room when they're forced to go through their own individual traps. But there is one scene that I kind of didn't like. It's the scene where the lady has to inject. She has 2 needles. One of them will kill her. One of them won't, and they'll all be free. So the one guy has the needles, and she doesn't know which one she wants to get ejected with. So instead of just picking one for her, he stabs her with both of them. And this guy isn't like a bad guy. He just stabs her with both of them. Like, you're not even going to take the 50-50 chance. You're just going to kill her so you guys can live. Like, there's a 50-50. Just pick one of them for her. But I know that's a little nitpick. But otherwise, I think the traps, they're pretty good. And kills, great as usual. Coming in at number 4, I have Saw 6. Like, Saw 5 and 6 is, I think, where the story really culminates and just kind of builds up and everything goes down. I do like Mark Hoffman escaping the reverse bear trap. That's one of the best scenes in the entire series. Otherwise, the main plot is kind of weak, but the way, like, Mark Hoffman takes down the cops is kind of cool. Again, I like Mark Hoffman. The trap subplot is fine. And it's got great kills, as usual. Coming in at number 3, I have Saw 2. But this one has been my number 2 Saw movie for a while, and it is now number 3. Mainly because this is when they kind of figure out they want to make it, like, a franchise, but they don't know they want to make it a story. So there really isn't anything in this movie that has to deal with the overall story that runs through all of them. Besides the fact that Eric Matthews is there. Like, otherwise, there's nothing that they do to actually set up any of the story. But it's the best Saw movie up to that point without the story. Like, the main trap subplot, probably the best trap of, like, the series, with all the criminals and the kid and Amanda, all that. That is probably my favorite trap subplot of the entire series. One of the most terrifying traps for me personally, the needle pit, because I am horrified of, like, the really thin needles. like it could just like slide into your skin so easily. It really freaks me out. But otherwise, I think this is a great Saw movie, and it has one of the best twists of any of them. I forgot to mention with the original Saw, great twist. I'm not taking anything away from that twist. I'm just saying I don't like the original Saw that much. But this one has a great twist. Coming in at number 2, we got the newcomer Saw X, already jumping up to my top 3. Maybe it's recency bias, but I loved this movie. I thought it was like a genuine great return to form after we got Jigsaw and Spiral. Like, this is exactly what I needed. Go back, show us Jigsaw, you know, you can show us a little trap that they went it through in between. Like, that's perfect. Like, he thought he was going to get a cure for cancer, but it turns out they're all blackmailing him and just taking his money. That's a great idea, because now you're not rooting for Jigsaw, but you can see why they're in the traps. Like, you're not rooting for really either of them, because, like, Jigsaw is torturing them, but they kind of deserve it. But, like, they don't deserve torture. It's just, like, they cancel out. You're like, you know, I don't care if they kill Jigsaw. I don't care if Jigsaw kills them. Like, either way, they deserve it. So, that's kind of a positive. I was glad they didn't go the Don't Breathe route. Don't Breathe 2, where they're like, okay, let's make this horrific villain the hero of the movie, which they kind of do with the kid, but I never was really rooting for Jigsaw. I was only really rooting for Jigsaw when when the main lady, like, turned against him or whatever, and, like, revolted. That's the only time I was rooting for Jigsaw, just because she killed the other girl who had survived. So, but otherwise, I have no complaints. I think this might be a perfect Saw movie. But my favorite Saw movie is going to Saw 5. As I said, in 5 and 6, the story is really culminating, and I think the story reaches its peak in 5 and then kind of goes down a little bit. But I think Saw 5 is a great Saw movie. It's some of the best traps. I was like, wait, which traps are in this? Yeah, it has some great traps. And the, like, main plot where they all have to work together to figure out how to get out, but it's really that they can all get out. But otherwise, Mark Hoffman, I love him. Again, he's kicking ass, and that ending is one of the best endings in Saw history, where, you know, it's like the unwinnable trap where the Strom is supposed to get into the little, like, glass case, but instead he pushes Mark Hoffman into it, and Mark Hoffman ends up living, because he knew that Strom wouldn't go in. So, yeah, Mark Hoffman ends up winning, and the room closes in on Strom. That's one of my favorite endings in the entire series, and that's why this is my favorite movie of the entire series. If you guys did enjoy the video, make sure to hit like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you'll be notified when I post brand new videos, and the rest of the Halloween Spooktacular, because we still got 10 more episodes to go. If you guys really enjoyed and you want to post your own ranking of all the Saw movies down there in the little comment section below, I will be happy to read all of them and reply, because I know a lot of people probably don't agree with my list. See you next time.